Privilege, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, to present to you the governor of Akwa Ibom State, one gentleman who has kept faith with these people, a gentleman who believes that the interests of Akwa Ibom State and Akwa Ibomite far is more than any other interest. That's why he makes a lot of sacrifice to make Akwa Ibom and Akwa Ibomites what and who they should be. Welcome to the Governor Speaks, Your Excellency.
Thank you, James. Let me welcome all Akwa Ibomites in Akwa Ibom State, in Nigeria, and in the diaspora. As James had actually pointed out, I think this is the seventh in the series
Excellency,
of this our program. And out of popular demand, we had to do this one in order to commemorate our 33rd anniversary as a state. I'm told people have so many questions for me. So as I said during the last program, I'll try and talk less and allow people to fill in with questions. And then I should be able to throw more light and enlighten people on some areas that people may not have actually had full information. But as usual, James, give me just 1 minute. Let me bring people up to date. The reason I need this 1 minute before we roll in the program is because of the attitude of people I'm beginning to see towards the COVID-19. Yesterday when we were commissioning one of the hospitals, I asked a cross-section of people that why were they not observing the COVID-19 protocol. They told me, Governor, COVID-19 ibahaba in vernacular, meaning COVID-19 is over. I just couldn't believe it. Please, let me say this. COVID-19 is yet to be over. A whole lot of people, I'm trying to be a little bit careless about it now. You're not doing us any good. At the end of the day, the pressure comes back to government. And I've said this over and again that it costs us a lot of money once you test positive. Because from that day, you become a responsibility of the entire state government. So please, let's still adhere to those protocols. There was also an observation, but I'm trying to pass this on to Commissioner for Education so that she can also let the principals of schools know and teachers. When they were writing WAEC, the students wore the mask to write the exams. But as soon as they left the exam room, they removed the mask. So I don't know which one is which one is riskier. Because when you're writing exams, you're not speaking to anybody. You're just on your own. I think that's even the time they should have even freed them a little so that they could, breathe in normally, feel freer to write the exams. And as they're about, rising from the exam room, that's even when they should have even masked up completely. But I could see them doing something completely different. All of them were fully masked up as they were writing exams, which could be highly inconveniencing. I must admit that. I mean, we're all human. What is inconveniencing, we must say so. And immediately they finished. All the students, they just dropped the mask and they were chatting and moving on. So I believe as we are about writing common entrance, I think Commissioner for Education and Education Monitoring Team will also note that when they are writing exams, I think they should relax a little and allow them unveil the mask, write the exams. Once they are about going to submit the answer sheets, then they can now mask up until they get back home. Then as of today, we have number of confirmed cases currently under admission, just about 8. We've been trying as much as practicable to treat as many as we had that time. Cumulatively, total number of confirmed cases since the outbreak as a state stands at 288. But as of today, we have just 8 confirmed cases. We've had quite a few number of fatality in this case, and I just want to thank God that it's not as bad as those in quote the bad people were just trying to let us know. In our call center is still very active. Total number of calls received at the call center is 5,602 from the last time I spoke with you. 5,602. So, and some of them, when they call, and probably we need a follow-up, we've done a follow-up of 8,251 out of those calls to actually know what has happened to them. Total number of contacts discharged from those follow-up has been 1,233 out of that. So I believe we've done very well as a follow-up based on those call center responses that we've gotten. Please avail yourself of those facilities. They are for you, they are for your use. And we've not relented at all. We've not relaxed in terms of being on alert of people who may potentially have probably had some symptoms. And in most cases, not all symptoms or similar symptoms will always be as a result of COVID-19. So please don't panic. Once you have any of the symptoms, don't panic. Just try and reach out to our call center, and then we'll just take it up from there. But please, I don't like the level of carelessness I'm seeing amongst a lot of people. I said so during the last program. I'm not wearing face masks because I'm alone. James and all of them are far, and so they are very far from me. But you must try to obey these. I can't remember a country I saw where almost virtually everybody that you see anywhere, I think either the Philippines or so, they were all wearing face masks. And they attested to the fact that it helps much more. The issue of vaccine, the way you hear people discussing across the globe, I wouldn't want us to also be a guinea pig. Let them test their vaccines, correct whatever they need to correct before we go on it. But we need to protect ourselves. It might be a bit inconveniencing. Even me, if you look at, we who are men that we shave every morning, men will let you know how inconveniencing it is. After you finish shaving or applying shaving powder, then the next thing you wear a face mask. But well, that's what the time dictates. It can be a little bit inconveniencing. You can suffer some burns at the moment. Some people react differently, but your skin will get used to it. You rather stay safe and have a rough face than please contact this thing and then put us under a very terrible situation. James, the second aspect I would like to take, which is very dear to my heart, is the resumption of schools. We've announced series, the timetable. We started with primary 6 because I said so earlier, I cannot run a system where I will not have JS1. So we started with primary 6. They are doing revision right now. Mind you, we're running schools till end of March. So they are doing revision right now, only primary 6 in primary school. So after that, I think either on 3rd of October or so, they should be writing common entrance. So enable us have a stream of JS1 that will start JS1 with us in November. So that had been announced. I think from October 5, primaries 1 to 5 will commence full or resume full classes. And I made an appeal to communities, to village presidents, youth president of each village, and so many other interest groups and stakeholders in education, that primaries 1 to 5 pupils, or primary schools in general, may not be able to cut the kind of, it's no more grass, it's bush. I haven't left it for 7 months. In our days in primary school that we used to cut grass, it wasn't that bad. At most, during long vac, schools will close for, I think, an average of 6 weeks or maximum 8 weeks. Then we'll go back. In that case, we'll still be able to cut the grass. But where schools have been locked down for 7 months, it's no more grass, it's bush. And we cannot subject those little children to that. So please let communities also help. Government cannot do it alone. There's no primary schools, there's no secondary school within a community that do not have what they call school councils. Let those who are in charge of the school council just do something. Like this morning was environmental sanitation across the state. A particular community could have just set that out and said, look, to this environmental sanitation, we want to do at our primary school or at secondary school and help clear it Once they resume, they will take over from there. It's just an appeal. I would really appreciate to see local government chairmen and other community leaders helping us to take that on. We've already announced the timetable and the processes and procedures concerning this school reopening, but of interest and of note is the fact that we might not be able to allow from JS1 to SS2 to be running schools. I mean, it will get choked up. The issue here is that we needed to categorize schools, which we've done. There are certain schools that are in category 1. Those schools, we must run sessions. JS1, JS2 will run Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. In the meantime, SS1 and SS2 will run Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. For now, until, we monitor the situation and we see how they improve. But there are some schools that the population of students might not be that frightening. But trust, anywhere within the city, especially within the Uyo metropolis, there are some secondary schools, you have over 4,000 students. And you can't put 4,000 students under the present condition. So that's why we had to spread that in that category. So please, we'll continue to make radio announcements over this. JS1, JS2, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. And schools will run from 8 a.m. prompt to 2 p.m. SS1, SS2 will run Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. As we monitor things and review how we are complying, I think we should be able to keep you updated and review also the schedule in which we are running. I also want to use this platform to appreciate those, especially some of the youth corps members who have also helped seriously within this period. I must place that on record. I might not have all their names to acknowledge them one by one, but I just want to pray for them that as they also offer themselves to a lot of these community services and primary assignments, and I'm sure God will bless them. It's a real show of love, and for your own people and where you're posted for your primary assignment. I think those are the two major categories. And above all, before I hand over to you people to ask me questions, let me say a very big congratulations to Akwa Ibom at 33. I've tried to make mention of significance of 33 years in the life from creation till today. It's been really remarkable, and a whole lot of promises fulfilled within this period. So we've taken time to also pray God that let 33 years be the time of fulfillment of God's promises upon the land. But I want to congratulate all the clergy, the traditional fathers, the stakeholders, the elders, the youths, the women, the children, the pupils, the school children, every single person. Those in Nigeria, those outside Nigeria, who have, in one way or the other, extended their good wishes towards this, we really appreciate it. And let me also say, so when we sang the anthem, you could, I could feel it. We have a fantastic anthem. We went through this, launching it on that 23rd, unveiling the emblem, the coat of arms and everything. I don't want to go through that again. Yeah. But for those who send in their, good wishes, appreciating the anthem, lovely anthem, has a whole lot of meaning. Let us rise, Akwa Ibom State, to the faith of greatness. It has a lot of meaning. And to these people and to those that won in their entries towards this, I also once again say congratulations to all of them. It's for us, it's our identity, it's what we believe in. As a state, we must let the world know what do we believe in and what do we stand for. And I think that's what we've demonstrated to the entire world. We'll keep this, so please, let's embrace it, let's own it. I know there are some leftists that will go the other way. It's allowed everywhere. Even in the camp of the Israelites, Achan was there. So you cannot even take away those people. Even in the radio station, you heard some Achan of Akwa Ibom State this morning. So you need to allow those people be. You need also those people within the society, because even God says that they must coexist with us. So I want to believe Akwa Ibomites will embrace this, and then they will do it well. And it's an anthem to be proud of, a creed, and then the emblem, and then the coat of arms. But please, every public offices is a must. You have to fly the flag of the state. as far as you operate here. I think we're trying to also make sure that all public schools, we mount those flags, and as students are resuming, they'll be singing our anthem too. We need to also charge their minds to the philosophy of the fact that their destiny is in their hands, and they must take their destiny in their hands, and they make good use of it, and then try to become something. That whatsoever they need in life to get to where they want to get to, God has provided. It's just left for you to realize your potentials and then get up there. Nobody has the monopoly of God. We want our Akwa Ibomites to be on top everywhere, anywhere they are, as we continue to pray for them. I will pause here as I take more questions, which I know a lot of people all over the world are going to ask me a lot of questions. We are ready for you. We'll answer as much as the time permits. Mind you, AKBC had given me only, I think, 1 hour 45 minutes. So I might not be able to extend beyond that, because it's also a profit-making venture. So that if they make losses, they won't say governor took their time. But I've paid for the time that I'm talking to my people. I have to pay for this time. So please, I'm here, all yours. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. You've taken it from me. I wanted to inform you and the public that this program is on AKBC television, and of course on AKBC Radio Akwa Ibom 90.5 FM, Planet FM 101.1 FM, Comfort 95.1 FM, Passion 94.5 FM, Atlantic 104.9 FM, Excel 106.9 FM, and of course, for the first time, Your Excellency, Unio Radio 100.7 FM has joined us. We are also on all the official platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter, and of course the state platforms. That's where we are. And for those who are following us on radio, you can join us later on via these numbers: 0907 2405 876 and 0808 425 4545. You can join us on those numbers. Chris, I think you should say, you've been so eager to ask His Excellency some question, having spent 30 years in this business. Where are you going to kickstart from?
Well, I thought you were to take the first question.
No, you should take.
Well, Your Excellency,
Thank you.
It's been 33 years in the existence of Akwa Ibom State. Just but looking back from the start, what is your assessment of the state's progress?
Thank you so much. Let me first of all start by thanking and acknowledging God's being so gracious to the state. 33, I mean, you know, is the bracket of adulthood very well. And the state also had come of age. If you see what we've achieved in 33 years as a developing nation, I think we have cause to thank God. And that's why if you listen to my broadcast on the day of the state creation, I took time to acknowledge all the leaders and our heroes past for their contribution. You know, no man can do all. You come, you serve, you leave, another man comes and continues. Because even Jesus Christ himself did not finish all the work on earth. So you, as a mere mortal, you cannot do all. No matter the passion, no matter everything, there must be a limiting factor somewhere. So I always use, first of all, acknowledge and appreciate all the past leaders, governors, military administrators of this state, our stakeholders, people at various strata who had contributed to Akwa Ibom seeing what we've seen today. Comparatively, because you see, you can't also take yourself out of where you belong. If you also look at other states across, let's even say, the West African sub-region, if you go around the states, drive through other states, when you come back, whenever you enter Akwa Ibom, you thank God that God had been really, really so good to us. So I want to say in a nutshell that in 33 years we've done very well as a state. A whole lot more to be done, and that's the nature of creation, because everything cannot just be done the same way. That's why when I was also speaking on Wednesday, during the emblem launch, I said that I can imagine what Akwa Ibom State would be at 50. If at 33 we've gone this far, look at our road network, look at our people, human capacity development and everything, even what we've done even in the present administration. I was just taking stock. We're still opening more private businesses and still counting. So I think we need to thank God. Even though those that never say anything good, even about themselves, will come up and tell you that you and me do not own Ibom. But I think today in Africa, we are the only state in the whole of Africa to have an airline. And where I'm just coming from right now, a very respected preacher from other parts of the country just mounted the podium and said, look, anywhere it goes to, these people have actually, appealed to all of them across the country as the best thing to have come out of here. We've done a whole lot. We've made remarkable impact in this country. We'll continue a whole lot. And God has blessed the state also with the quality of leaders we've had over time. We can do much better than where we are today. But I just hope where we are will never go back. That's why even in our anthem, we say forward ever, backward never. No matter how that little percentage of them want to drag us backwards, I think we are determined as a people to move forward. So I would say once again, congratulations to all of you, gentlemen of the press, every single person, students, pupils, every single person that contributed. And I really want to hope that we shall come together in unity and in love and propel and also fire up much more than what we've done so far. And let's see where we'll land ourselves by the time we celebrate as a state our golden jubilee. I'm sure we'll do much better.
Okay, Mr. Basi.
Okay, thank you very much. Your Excellency, while we are still on the subject of state celebration,
Yes.
one of the most outstanding features of that event was the launching of the state's emblem, all the symbols. So it begs the question, why now? And what do those symbols mean?
Why now? That's a good question. Why now? You know, in my introductory remarks, I tried to let people know the significance of number 33. How come God did not destine Jesus Christ to die on the cross to save mankind before he was 33? How come in the genealogy of Jesus Christ, David was number 33 in that genealogy? And Jesus Christ, even the blind Bartimaeus, when he wanted to talk about Jesus Christ, he said, "Thou son of David, have mercy upon me." That's even what attracted Jesus, because he touched on the genealogy. So there are certain things that you cannot just change like that, and it will come naturally. So I would want to say that our launching of coat of arms, emblem, and anthem at this time just came naturally. Let me put it that way, because from inception, certain numbers, certain significance of years and time and seasons. Even God says so, he controls time and seasons. So I wouldn't say why now. I wouldn't say it's late. I wouldn't say it's early. But I just said that it must have been the right thing at the right time that we've done. And I hope we feel that way. We are happy it came that way. And we also appreciate people who also embrace it that way.
Now, Your Excellency, let's get back to school reopening. As a parent, I am also very concerned, just as other people. You did talk about the processes for the reopening of schools and what parents should do. Your Excellency, please, I'd like you to maybe re-emphasize to parents, to the students, what do they need to do as they go back to school?
Thank you, James. We've taken time. We've actually printed some of these things. In some places, we even mount them as billboards, the COVID-19 protocols. These are, you know, same thing all over. Approved by WHO, approved by NCDC in terms of Nigeria. We didn't add, we didn't subtract what everybody is trying to do. In a nutshell, and in a very simple language, we're just saying, watch out for your hygiene standard. That's all. Watch out for your hygiene standard. As a mother, in the morning, please, as your ward, let me not just say as your son or daughter now, as your ward is leaving for school, just tell him to be a little bit more conscious of the hygiene standard. As government, initially, I mean, we've tried to provide sanitizers and some sort. But right now too, we're also trying to see water. I mean, because there's nothing as good as washing your hands all the time. And wearing a face mask is just to make sure that the droplets from probably assuming there's just one person who may have tested positive without knowing, because a whole lot of them symptoms might not show, so it will not spread. So you wear the face mask. That's the simplest thing now. And also a little bit of distancing in the class. That's where we are trying to spread the classes so that they can occupy the whole school, not just confining them to those few classrooms away before COVID-19. So take, for example, in the morning, JS1, JS2 can occupy all the classrooms in the school. Once they leave Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, SS1, SS2 now come and also occupy all the classrooms. So with that, we'll be able to do a whole lot of distancing. And where we have a special teacher, and it's supposed to be a large class, so in that case, they can afford to use the assembly hall so that they can still observe that social distancing. That's the essence of this. Keep the hygiene standard, wear face mask. If you want to sneeze, everything we've shown in TV, we've talked about, we've shown in terms of symbols and signs, because we've also done some sign languages in this. So we want people to just adhere to that. Nothing more, no new thing to be done. If we can even keep to that, I'm sure we'll be as healthy as we've been in these past few months. I must also thank our people who have adhered in the past to it, but I just want to appeal that they shouldn't be tired. It seems they're already tired. Please don't be tired. We're almost there. I'm sure the way I'm seeing, if we can keep to what we are doing right now, God will help us. We are praying that latest before December, these things should allow people to celebrate their, their end of year in a bit of a freer manner as we used to do than what we're observing right now.
Now, Your Excellency, permit me to please still beg on this issue. School reopens in Akwa Ibom. Where are we? Is it first term, second term, third term? I do know that we are doing exams. And secondly, Your Excellency, you had introduced a very wonderful initiative, the school on radio program and other online learning facilities. What are you putting in place to further develop on that, even after COVID-19?
Well, the school online, was purely out of the circumstances we found ourselves. I cannot sit down here and not tell you the truth, that I cannot beat my chest to say that 100% of our people benefited from that. It must have still been selective. People who are in the riverine areas, who probably may not have had probably money to buy battery and put in their radio to listen to the radio, a whole lot of them, and children there, because they were at home for a longer period. Some of them are helping their parents, clean up the fish when they are back from, fishing and so on. So I cannot actually say they all benefited the same way, but greater percentage of our students benefited from that. The essence of that was to keep them abreast with, the school and the learning, the lessons, the subjects, the topics that, they were to go through. It wasn't a substitute for the third term. So what they are resuming right now is third term. We've said so over again. They are resuming into third term, which will complete that as soon as possible. The only difference is because we took pains to do a whole lot of online teaching and, school on radio, we may not be able to run 12 weeks the way we normally run third term. So we run third term for about 6 weeks, and then we quickly switch over to first term. By the time we get to January and start second term, by Easter, we will have corrected the timetable, and then we should be able to flow again. Also praying that nobody knows 2021. By 2021, the whole world will wake up to something different. So we are praying to God that timetable will stay. But I think that's what we are trying to do. We just shorten the third term, but we cannot take out third term completely. We must run third term for a minimum of 6 weeks. And then they write the exams, promotion exams, get promoted to new classes, and then we start first term almost immediately, because they've stayed at home long enough. So I don't think they will be much eager to run back home.
Well, I know you mentioned this during your introductory remarks. The economy of Akwa Ibom State is exposed. The religious religious organizations, social gatherings, the schools are resuming and all that. Is it safe that the worst is over regarding COVID-19?
The worst is not over. COVID-19 is not over. I won't even say the worst. COVID-19 is not over. And if for people who have followed me closely from the month of March till today, I've said this over and over again. For Africans, I don't care the prediction of the white people. Some people are being quoted, you know, those people in America and other places that said that by this time the streets of Africa will be littered with dead bodies. I didn't give a damn to their prediction because I know and I've known from time that wasn't the problem of Africa. The problem of Africa till tomorrow will be the economic impact of COVID-19, not the virus itself. I keep repeating myself. The same statement I made in March is the same statement I'm still making today. And I'm sure people are beginning to see that unfolding. The greatest and the hardest and the most hit impact on Africans will be the economy. And I think we are all feeling the impact. I can't say the worst is over because even after the virus, it will still take us time to come out of where we found ourselves as Africans. But it's also a clear call for us to wake up that we have a whole lot that we can do for ourselves. We have a whole lot that we can take ourselves out of where we are. So it will take us back to the drawing board to see what we can do for ourselves and then survive. You could see when there was a complete lockdown, people survived. So how come we survived? A lot of important things were not coming in. So people made do with what they had. So that is a great lesson on the economy of a nation like ours. And if you also look at countries who found themselves in a terrible adversary condition, take for example China, when they had that population explosion, their economy. You remember in those days when you see inferior goods, they say Taiwan. So they say Taiwan. That was all over the world. But they kept faith with that their so-called Taiwan, and today it's no more Taiwan. The whole world is buying from them. Even you can see the world powers are holding meetings, trying to discuss what they can do to China to slow them down, which is not possible. Because even all the factories, even the iPad that you're using, if you turn the back, you say it's made in China. It's going to take time. I mean, well, the whole world was laughing at them. Whenever you see anything that is inferior, you say made in China. And trust Africans. Our own is just to consume. We're busy consuming both the Taiwan and the Europe and the Western world and so on. And we ended up not producing anything on our own. Until I came into power, we couldn't even boast of even a toothpick. That with all the bamboos and the raffia broomstick we have everywhere, we couldn't do it. I mean, we didn't even bother about it. Not that it's such a rocket science, simple technology. We didn't bother about it. But those people pick those things, grew their domestic economy and got to where we are today. And I just want to believe that this will actually make us look inwards and believe in ourselves and push ourselves a little bit further. I'm sure God has endowed us as a people to make sure that we do much better than where we are coming from. Okay. So that's the lesson of COVID-19.
Thank you, sir. So like you've already submitted that Africans will be hit economically, we would just like to know, as a result of this pandemic, some countries have sunk into different degrees of recession and depression economically. So how susceptible is Akwa Ibom State?
Under your watch, Excellency.
Akwa Ibom State under my watch is also a state in a nation, and a nation in a continent in a world. So you can't actually say you are insulated. I mean, you are not just operating on your own. We are just a subset. So we rely on everybody. The only thing there is you've already found yourself there. You see, the problem is not where you find yourself, but what you do to get yourself out of where you find yourself is the main thing. Where we found ourselves now, I keep saying so, we cannot just fold our arms and be crying because it's affecting everybody. No, we must struggle, we must do something. I'm sure if you look at our schedule, even in the midst of this, we are doing something as a state. We are talking to people. See, in every bad situation, there's always an opportunity. I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat myself. If somebody can die and it creates an economic opportunity, how much more COVID-19? There are a lot of companies who are doing 500 times what they used to do because of COVID-19. There are a lot of people who are making so much. So instead for us to look at the adverse side of COVID-19, can we look at the positive side as a people, which is what we are doing? What can we now try to do? There are opportunities for everything. Even when somebody dies, there was opportunity for a casket maker. Those who are to dig the graves, even those selling yams will sell much more because people will still come and eat on the yam during the funeral. So under COVID-19, there are a lot of lessons and a lot of things to propel us. It might interest you to know that even during that lockdown, we had some of our people, we've trained a whole lot of people. I'm eager, right from 3-4 years ago, when I was made to participate in the World Bamboo Day, and I know how much God has endowed this our area with bamboo, that we are not even planting. You just wake up one morning, the thing is growing everywhere. And today I said, look, we can also make money out of it. So throughout the COVID-19, we're busy constructing one of the technologies that is yet to come into Africa. We don't mind starting it, which is how to make use of bamboo and make the best tissue paper you can think of. It's not a boast. I mean, I'm going to commission it as soon as possible. As I'm talking to you right now, if you go there, we are troubleshooting, trying to see different, so that once we run, and our people are being trained on it. We are trying to buy skills and so on. With that, they can also be able to produce something. I was talking to one of the Akwa Ibomites. I said, you've done so well in music. So throughout the COVID, what did you do? He says, sir, I was in the studio, writing more, producing more. Very soon I'm going to launch out. So you could see so many people trying to change the situation to make it a little bit positive and beneficial. A whole lot of people within that period will tell you, look, because I was around, my poultry farm, I used to do 15,000 beds. But because since I was around, I wasn't going anywhere, I could supervise it. I increased the number of beds to 30,000. So I'm trying to get our people to see the positive aspect in every situation that we find ourselves, because there's no point. Udom man will tell you there's no point crying over a spilled milk. No point just sitting back, carrying our hands on our heads, crying over COVID-19. Absolutely, that will not help us as a people. So under our watch, if you go to Akwa Ibom, you will see during COVID-19 how much we are doing to transform that center, because we want to make it one of the best skill development centers around. Go and see how much we've sunk in, even as government during that period, trying to build up that place, and check some of the equipment have started arriving. So we're going to take so much. Right now we're in the process. During the week I was just discussing with one of the consultants. I mean, some of this technology we don't have. We have to import the technology, not just the machine. We have to also find a way to spy over what others are doing. That's how all these people survive. You spy over what another person is doing, add to God-given knowledge, you might even make something better. You might make something better. So you can go there and see what we built. And the first idea before COVID-19 was to create that center to rehabilitate, the people we took from some of those local government areas who were going astray. But right now we just discovered that it's a bigger opportunity. We can do a lot more. So that's why we are just putting up that place. If not that international trade had been a little bit slowed down, by now we would have started. My target was to make sure that before the end of this year we commence, full skill development in that place. But we're working seriously to make sure that within a few months from now, the equipment we need must have been there, so that you can also see during the period too. At times like this, when things are going this way, automotive industry also helps a lot, because it can create a whole lot of skills, jobs, and so much. You could see within that period, we've been trying to partner with developed nations of the world to see how can we do an auto factory that can also help train our people in a whole lot of mechanical techniques. I won't call that full mechanical engineering, so that engineers won't crucify me. But we can train a whole lot of technicians that can help a whole lot, even in domestic things that you might not know. I keep saying, so now we suffer a whole lot in our homes. No matter how beautiful your house looks like, once you enter inside, find out the plumbing issue that the person is having. Find out the electrical issue the person is having. Find out other mechanical issues the person is having. Because I mean, the best form of training on some of those is our hands-on training experience, and it helps a whole lot. So as a state, we are thinking ahead. We are trying to launch forward and make sure that we harness this and snap out of the situation. We can't just be shouting. Not to talk about Greek and other areas, which the way I see you raising your hand is like you want me to start. So go ahead. So I won't reach Greek for now. Let me leave it.
Okay, no, please. While you're on that issue, I have a very serious thought here.
Okay.
Interviewing people, the different commissioners you have on our show.
Okay.
Some of them talk about the amazing things that you're doing. There is a 21-story smart building. The MRO is still in working. We have the terminal that's still working. My problem is with our curriculum. It cannot address these skills. The things that are taught in our secondary schools today with that curriculum, I mean, while I've been a teacher, those things do not teach our students how they can fit into all these industries. So I'm asking, what are you doing to skill up our people so we don't have all these amazing things and only people from outside can work there?
Thank you. You see, you're still bringing me back to what I've said in the last 2 episodes. If I'm correct,
Yeah.
I announce all over. If you see any Akwa Ibomite anywhere in the world who is a professor of different fields, and the person says he's not been contacted, it means probably we don't have his email address. We've gone around the whole world contacting Akwa Ibomite, because you see, he can't just be outsiders in this case. And it took me a whole lot, and God bless people like Hillary Ian. He has relocated, he has spent over 1 year in Akwa Ibom. You know, he works for the American government. They even seconded him to one of the countries in Africa, I think in either Ethiopia or so, or Botswana, to go and, you know, look at the education curriculum. He's coordinating that. You see, we are saying that in each of the federal constituencies, we are trying to pick certain, you know, skill set schools that we are developing on. Once we do that, we now create what we call an intermediate technology institute, which is what we want to turn the present School of Art and Science in Nongokab, in Econo, to serve as that intermediate school. So they will prepare people for Akwa Ibom State University, because that's the only university we have control over. All other universities are federal. We have control over the curriculum of that university. You can see even the person who was also a member, technical member of that committee, is now the Vice Chancellor. Professor Nserudo is a professor of geology. So we are trying to get these people in there. I'm sorry to say so. You won't find somebody in that category saying he's going to do theater arts. No. Not that again. We allow federal universities to do theater arts for our people. But for this technology-driven skill set development, that's where we're going to. We can't launch out now because we're not ready. We still need partnership with some people. They are still working on it. In fact, I think before October 10, the first phase report would have been ready. We'll do a full presentation. We'll start, and I've made this announcement over and over again, that we'll spend so much in other infrastructure in the past 5 years. Healthcare, you can see what we've done to turn around healthcare. When we came into office, I couldn't have a single general hospital, secondary healthcare, that the patient could walk in and have a proper medical attention. But today, in every federal constituency of this state, we've set up a world-class secondary healthcare facility. We are not boastful. Look at the type that we commissioned yesterday. To drive home the point, I'm not sounding boastful, and I'm not trying to mock at some of the teaching hospitals. But it might interest you to know that I had a professor who was with me yesterday as we were doing the commissioning. He told me, Your Excellency, throughout his days and his experience in teaching hospitals, we're supposed to be a tertiary healthcare facility. He had never seen a theater like what he saw yesterday. So it shows our commitment, our passion. And look at the kind of machines, look at the X-ray machines. There's nothing that you see in most of those secondary healthcare facilities. You won't find the same thing when you go outside this country. Is it the bed? Is it those motorized beds? And even the services there are completely digitized, as I announced. You walk into a general hospital in Akwa Ibom and you are a patient. Your record is shared in all general hospitals in the state. So if you were treated for malaria yesterday in hospital B, by the time you get to point C, it will be recorded there that such a consultant attended to you. These were the medications you were given. This is what you were treated for. So the person taking off from there will know what to do. Our attention is to save lives. Then when I was making an announcement, I said, we've devoted a whole lot of attention to, healthcare delivery system. That from 2021, we're going to face education squarely. When I say squarely, we must get it right in terms of manpower, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of facilities. We might not get it all in one day. You can never achieve all in one day, but the journey of 1,000 miles, they say, begins with one step. If we keep just paying lip service to most of these things without actually making a move, we'll never get there. So let's make a move, and we declare from 2021, we start working. We'll end up somewhere, and we are going somewhere. We know where we are going. Probably we may not have the best machine to take us there for now, but as we keep working, we'll improve our skills, and then we'll be there eventually. And people will look back and say, thank God we started one day. I think that's where I rest my case for that.
Well, yes, okay,
You want to, okay, Chris?
Apart from planning,
Yes.
planning and infrastructure in the healthcare system,
Yes.
how about training and recruitment of health workers?
Okay, health workers.
Health workers.
Probably I didn't say that. We didn't start training today. We've been training these people in the past 3 to 4 years. Health Management Board will tell you. And I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed to say so. I must go to people who have done it much better. In terms of, if you check most of our secondary healthcare system, we start with the emergency section. Like those ones we commissioned yesterday, you need to see hospital emergency that we put in there. Because at times, we lose more people at that emergency point. Because if they don't know what to do, when to do, and they do it, whatsoever is done after that, it could be what they call medicine after death. So, is it a hospital emergency? We've taken time to bring people from the US because they are very good in some of these hospital emergencies. And they've been training our people. There was a time we selected about 100 doctors to go only on emergency there. So we are training people, and training is continue. You cannot just stop. We'll continue training. And as we are training on this aspect, medicine, science evolves. So you keep changing. But our training facilities are always occupied. As I'm talking to you right now, you can pick any civil servant in Akwa Ibom who is from, say, level 10 to 17. Find out during lockdown up to today, what kind of training had the government put you through? Just listen to the person, what the person will tell you. Just listen. One of these days, invite one of them, one of the permanent secretaries, and just interview. Let the guy just talk to you that these are not probably political statements that other people make. Training will continue. And I've also made an announcement in the course of commissioning some of these projects that we'll move to a second phase where some of our citizens that want to return. For example, right now, I'm looking for anesthetists who are citizens of Akwa Ibom who would like to come and work with us. We can actually look at it, and I can get back to get approval from the relevant body to make sure that we take them as consultants. Because you see, in our local language and local parlance, they say Akwa Ibom. So you can't have those people cheap. If it must cost us something little, we bring them. Right now, you can see how many neurosurgeons that we brought back. Those people are not cheap. So we are continuing to bring a whole lot of them. And we are just hoping that we'll get to save a whole lot of lives. We pay a lot of premium to the life of our people. And it pains me when something very minor, you just see people at the airport, where are you going? I'm going to point A or point B. What for? Oh, I've been having this back pain for the past 2 weeks. How can you go outside of Akwa Ibom for minor treatment? When we have a well-equipped secondary healthcare facility, and we're also developing aggressively a quaternary hospital with specialists. Oh my God, we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Now, Excellency, let me take you back to the economy. And I recall that earlier on you talked about planning while happening under COVID-19. About 3 weeks ago, at the Ministry of Information, we did the documentary on Udom Deep Sea. It was revealing how far you've gone in actualizing that project. Beyond what we saw, we'd like you to share with Akwa Ibom people, how soon can we have Udom Deep Sea online, knowing the benefit that project will bring to the states?
Well, let me say thank you, my professional panelists. Over time, you know, when we started our blueprint from 2015, we said so, that we try to face industrialization. People gave different interpretations to what they meant by industrialization. A lot of people thought it's only when you see factory in every local government, that's what you mean by industrialization. No, not at all. And we went ahead to define how we kickstart this, that we need to look at the three gateways, A, C, land, to build an industrialization background or backbone. Let me call it that way. Those were the three gateways we were aiming at driving the backbone. As of today, SARS and Ma, I want to let you people know, we are heading towards being a major hub of aviation in West Africa, and I'm not mincing words. You can see what we are doing. We've slowed down right now, even on that second taxiway, because we didn't want a wishy-washy kind of quality. We needed to slow down so that the wall can open up for us to maintain the quality. You can see, get back there, get to the contractor, see our commitment on the terminal. The smartest terminal building you can see in Africa will be found in Akwa Ibom. I'm not mincing words. Once we finish, you get it running. I set up a 21-story building. Today is history. The oil and gas people that came are asking about the contractor, about details of what we did there. So it's that. So this is what we are trying to do. Then, in terms of road, you can see our road neighbor. Even when we don't have enough money, but what we are doing so far, I answered the question on that. The people say, oh, there are so many roads not completed. I said, no problem. If I don't complete, another administration will come and complete. That what we are trying to do is that we have not forgotten you. You voted for us. You brought us here. The little we have, let's share. We are one government that we try to touch all the three senatorial, all the federal constituencies, and if possible, all of government areas. So by us coming to open, trying to put lateral stone base, if I cannot wait to put the blinding course, the finishing, another person will come and do it. Because it's the same, it will also get vote from you. And that's why also you check. In the past 1 week, I've not gone around with you again to commission roads. I'm trying to go to, inner riverine rural areas to show people that, look, we have not forgotten you. One of our completion agenda was to focus on rural dwellers so that we can open roads, make them also be accessible, and also have basic social services and amenities. And that's what we've been doing. So back to Ibom Deep Seaport. That's what we are doing in roads. That's what we are doing in air. As I'm talking to you right now, the experts are working on the MRO. The MRO, the type we are working on, what we are signing in, is not for show. State government is going to make money out of MRO. A lot of people anywhere in the world make money. So aircraft will be flying in so many other places in this continent to come be, and be overhauled there. Because it's not anywhere. We must create something. We are going to make revenue out of it. So that whatsoever you put there, you know that state will get returns on it. You also monitor what we are trying to do. We are doing something that will also yield returns to the state. It's not white elephant. We are not building monuments. We are building real projects. And projects are supposed to have returns. I'm not interested in monuments. People who build monuments are people who are interested in self-aggrandizement. You just want people to see you, I keep saying so. That there's a difference between character and charisma. So we are building things that have character. Not just, boastful, flamboyant charisma. At the end of the day, you sunk in whole billions and nothing could be in terms of returns. Nobody can measure returns. No, we are not doing that. MRO, what we are building. The same thing back to Deep Seaport. We have done more than what we care to tell people outside. As I'm talking to you today, all we needed, our investors, initially, the question was, where was state government? I heard the blackmailers. Some blackmailers went to Abuja to blackmail governor. Oh, you see, the same way they are talking about Udom Emmanuel now, that the Deep Seaport belongs to governor. I'll be very happy if I can own a Deep Seaport and bring it to my state. It will show how patriotic I am to my state, if I can afford it. But the same people who go on radio, who go on these places to talk, they've never opened up a barbering shop for somebody to come and cut his hair. Rather, they don't mind owning 36 jeeps. They've never bought a tractor and put it in the farm, knowing fully well that when they come back, they will eat vegetable from the farm. That's where places grow. So, the same way too. And we've suffered a whole lot of delays because, it's in an exclusive list. We cannot just come in say we want to do deep sea port with our investors. But we've gone very far. We are making use of the best consultants of deep sea port you can ever think of anywhere in the world. When we were called on the aviation development sector in Dubai early this year, we went to showcase what we've done so far in our deep sea port. It attracted a whole lot of foreign interest. I don't want to go into that to give details because I'm talking to the whole world. But as of today, look at what we've done. All we need, look at all our papers that documents our consultants. Unfortunately, the people that we are partnering with, they are tired. This project was to kick off September 2018. We are already in 2020. They've not started. One of our investors is threatening us now that he's going to Cameroon in order to set up a similar thing. Why? Because he wanted to use our deep sea port as a transshipment port to other Gulf of Guinea. And if we keep going through these delays by the federal government and it goes to neighboring countries, James, that one gets beyond me. It needs prayers because Paul Apostle said, having done all to stand, stand. We've done all to stand and to run in this case as a state. But you know the rest, you can't say on the microphone. But we're only appealing once again to the federal government that please, if you check out of the top 10 deep sea ports on planet Earth, China alone has 6. Out of the best 10 deep sea ports in the world, China alone has 6. So Nigeria, 3-4 deep sea ports is not much at all. So we really need a deep sea port in this area. And I don't see why we can't dominate the entire Gulf of Guinea. Why should all these small countries be having seaport? They should be importing through our port and then we just transship to them. That's what we should do. They should look for small vessels, smaller vessels. When the mother vessel berths here, and then we now give to them. What's the economy of these smaller countries? Is it because they are not using our currency to trade? They should be using Naira. I don't want to mention names of these countries so that they don't sue me. But smaller countries here, what do they have? Some of these countries, if Nigeria closes the border 3 days, the economy will completely be in comatose, which you know. They come begging. So we can actually take advantage of that. I'm telling you, most of these smaller countries, they should be trading with Naira. And that's even one of the ways that we could have strengthened our currency. We could have looked for a way for them to make use of our currency. So it's the same way. So if the federal government can see the advantage that we, in our strategic position, we can actually dominate and actually use this also to create jobs and, you know, bolster the economic growth of Nigeria. We couldn't be going through all this. You need to see what ICRC wrote about our deep sea port. It is one of the best recommendations I've ever seen on such infrastructure anywhere. When ICRC went through what we did and made a recommendation to the presidency about our deep sea port. But I also want to use the platform. James, you must acknowledge people that have helped you. To thank the Minister of Transport, thank the NPA, thank ICRC, who had actually, you know, took it upon themselves because they saw the potential. They saw the seriousness of Akwa Ibom people. They saw the partnership we had with our investors, and they are really supporting us. I just want to believe 1 or 2 bottlenecks here or there will be cleared at that point. I'm sure nothing prayer cannot do. So when you're in your family altars, 4 of you, this night, when you're in your family altars, just mention, God, help Akwa Ibom with the Ibom Deep Sea Port. Tomorrow, everything will be done. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Your Excellency, at this point, it's not just the 4 of us who would like to pray. We'd like to invite Akwa Ibom people, not just to
They are praying. They are praying.
In the prayer.
It's because they've not heard you pray. That's why I say you should pray. They are praying.
We pray, Your Excellency. I want them not to only pray.
Chris has not been praying.
I want them to also talk to Your Excellency. So at this point in time, the segment of the program where we invite Akwa Ibomites all over the world to join us. If you're watching us on air, online, on mobile, the time is now. The number to join us is, or the numbers rather, are 0907 2405 876. Let me repeat the number, 0907 2405 876. The second line is 0808 4254 545. 0808 4254 545. The phone lines are open. Rockefeller.
Yes, okay. We've had a lot of people on the line for quite a while. Please, as you call, say your name, tell us where you're calling from, ask your question. His Excellency will be very happy to field your question. So I can take the calls. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Well, I do not know. I'm going to have problems with that.
I can hear you. Okay. I can hear you.
Okay,
Okay, it's coming up.
Hello?
Yes. Hello? Yes.
Yes.
I am Peter.
What's your name? Where are you calling
I am Peter. I am Peter Itwe.
Peter, where are you calling from?
Government. I'm calling from United Arab Emirates.
United Arab Emirates.
Emirates.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so your question, Your Excellency, is waiting.
Yes. Please, I want to ask My Excellency, I want to commend him for his development strides he has done so far in our state. So my question is, what is he doing about quality ceramic industry in his local government? Hello?
What is he doing about politics?
He's asking about what you're doing.
Ceramic industry, quality ceramic industry. Since we have a raw material there, I think that industry should be brought back since the collapse.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Since we're having problems of lines, would have loved to take up the 3 questions before I answer, but let me answer that quickly. In 2016, Quality Ceramics is one of the very first that we're trying to look for investors, because government is to create an enabling environment, and investors is to do their business and make the profit and pay taxes to government. So we even took samples of the sand and raw materials there to Italy. I went with one of the commissioners and the consultant. They did the analysis and sent us back the report. I still have the report in my office about, let me call it the raw materials, God-given raw materials that could be used there. There were some challenges. That's why we couldn't run at the scale we needed to run. But before the end of that 2016, we had an investor who was interested, which we signed a partnership, and we're still hopeful. He came back to us that he had raised some capital. He had also had some markets where he's also trying to sign some off-take agreement. We are giving him time. I think the Foreign Direct Investment Technical Committee gave him till the end of this year for them to come up with actual execution, agenda for that. And if they cannot, then probably we might look for another person. But as government, we don't have the kind of money we need to sink in to make the raw materials that come out and compete favorably with the modern quality. That's something about science. You can imagine, when we were in school, we were watching box TV, black and white. After they introduced color TV that had a cable connected to a remote, before we knew it, the cable was cut off, no more remote. Today, people are watching curved TV. Only God knows what will come out next year. So it's the same thing. If you see the quality and the improvement of current ceramics and ceramic products, you know that what we have there state government might not be able to refine it to that level that we can compete, because it needs a whole lot of capital. So we need to partner with people. So we're looking for a whole lot of people to partner in that direction. But since you're calling from United Arab Emirates, they have a lot of money over there. We wouldn't mind if you want to partner with us. We'll give you all the encouragement so that you can also invest. Thank you.
Okay, we have other callers. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Uyo.
You're on to the Governor Speaks. Please,
Yes.
your name, where you're calling from, your question.
Okay, I'm calling from Uyo. My name is Imran Dokia. My question to the Governor, His Excellency. First of all, I want to congratulate him celebrating Akwa Ibom Day and the logo and the what we just launched. But my question to him is, looking at Akwa Ibom, we have 3 territorial districts: Ikorekpene, Uyo, and Eke. And since he came into power, looking at the district, we can see that it cannot be compared to Uyo or Ikorokwene. What are your plans towards that before you leave this office? Thank you.
All right, thank you for the call, Your Excellency.
What if I can understand vividly what the question is trying to say? He said, looking at Eket, it cannot be compared to Uyo or Ikorokwene.
Yes.
Is this senatorial district or as a city?
Senatorial district.
Senatorial district.
Senatorial district.
Yes.
Well, his eye of assessment might be, could be, you know, there's a group they call, is it budget it or whatever? Their lenses could be different from what the economists use. It could be, I don't know, can't drill into his mind to know what he's referring to, where probably he thinks some senatorial district may be at a disadvantage. But I don't see any disadvantage of any senatorial district because we spread development across all the 3 senatorial districts. That's what we do. And also, if you even check the roads we are building, if you come to our FGPC, Finance and General Purpose Committee meeting, we'll give you economic analysis of every single road we build. We build road based on economic value, economic analysis. We keep saying let's rise above ethnicity and this. Let's do something that will benefit 7.2 million people, not something that will just benefit one person, if I know that that's the direction of your question. But why not just wait? After all, even the deep sea port you're talking about is going to be built in Eket Senatorial District. I don't know whether you've ever been to Lagos or if you've been to China, the state they call Shenzhen. That's where you have one of the best deep sea, I think number 6 in the whole world in terms of ranking. The whole of that city, is the life economy, everything is defined by that deep sea port. So even starting deep sea port alone in that senatorial district, you can imagine the economic value. If you go to Lagos, from mile 2 up to Ijora, everywhere there is defined by the seaport, by Tinkan, and also Lagos port. So I don't think any senatorial district will be at any disadvantage. Just give us support, give us time. When we finish, we sit back and then you give a final assessment. It's too early to give a final assessment while I'm still writing the exams.
Your Excellency, we have so many people on the line.
Yes.
Hello? Hello? Oh, wow, we've lost that. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
All right, so your name, please, where you're calling from, your question.
Yeah, I'm calling from, my name is Abaseko.
Abaseko.
Yes, from Rio.
Your question to His Excellency.
Yeah, please, Excellency, they want to congratulate you for being so far. I want to thank God Almighty you for
Thank you.
We have you. You are our father in heaven. My Excellency, please, I want to ask you a question, please. Because I have some challenge. My Excellency, please.
Can I hear your question?
Please, I don't have much. I don't have a much question. I wanted to ask for a favor.
Hello?
Please.
Okay.
Yes, I'm with you.
If you're asking for a favor, I'm sure James, before he leaves this program, will leave his number. So you send your text to James, and James can help me handle that aspect.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay,
Please, maybe, can you just disconnect the call, please? Please. Hello, please, I'd like to make
Hello, good evening.
Yes, I'm on the line, please.
Okay, some other person.
Good evening.
Hello, please, your name, where you calling from, your question.
Hello, can I present the governor of Akwa Ibom?
Yes, go ahead, he's listening to you.
Hello? Is that Excellency?
This is Esi Sudo, but it's not my day. You are talking to His Excellency. Your question to
Okay, can I speak with him? His Excellency, my name is from Una.
Go ahead with your question.
My name is Son Ekbo from local government area. Yes, hello?
Go ahead.
Yes, I want to congratulate him very well. He was my classmate in Ikorakban Secondary School.
Okay.
I really appreciate it very, very well.
Thank
He has
you.
not known me when we were he was ahead of me in Ikorogba Secondary School.
Okay.
I have to appreciate him. He has done so well for us.
So, but where are you
the
now?
question I want to ask is,
Okay.
Excellency.
Go ahead.
Now, the issue is that I have some challenges in my eyes. I applied to his office for medical attention on my eyes. I applied since 2017 to the permanent secretary, that is to his office. So up till now, I have not had the approval to go and do my eye surgery. So I want him to help me.
James.
Hello, please. Hello. Please, I'd like to make this special announcement. You know, this program is essentially to discuss government programs and projects. I'm going to drop a number. The last time we were here, we had mentioned about some empowerment offices that you can reach out to. Government is doing a lot in terms of empowerment. For the purpose of empowerment or assistance, please direct those issues to those offices. And at the end of this program, I'll also drop a number through which you can drop some of these special appeals. I want to please appeal that we should limit our questions and contributions on the program to the development we're talking about.
Okay,
Thank you.
Let me take this call. Someone to be coming in from a foreign land. Hello?
Hello?
Nice to hear from you. What's
Hello?
your name? What's your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Ufo Kish. I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
You're calling from where?
Washington, D.C.
I'm calling from Washington, D.C. My name is Ufo Kish.
Your question, please.
Yes, I want to thank His Excellency. This is Ufo Kish from Washington, D.C. I want to thank His Excellency.
You, Kish. Yes, Kish.
For what he has done. His Excellency, I'm so proud of you. I was at home last year during your second inauguration. Because of the type of road you have made in my village, I couldn't know my village again. I thought,
Thank you, Kish.
I thought that was the last thing you have done. But yesterday, you did one other thing again, Akwa General Hospital. I remember how Akwa Hospital used to be. From Ikoya, we used to go there. But what you did yesterday was wonderful. His Excellency, God will bless you.
Amen.
His Excellency, you see, I'm here in Washington. I don't know what I can do to support your government. I'm not looking for work. I work with Embassy of Nigeria here in Washington.
Okay.
But I feel as if I'm not supporting you. So please, if you have anything over here, I'm available to do for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for what you have done, His Excellency.
Thank you so much. Oh, Kish, I really want to thank you. I will try and get across with your number and your email through the embassy so that I can tell you areas you can support us. But let me also appreciate you. I keep saying so. A mouth that cannot commend does not have the right to condemn.
Hello?
So, if you can commend the little we are doing based on the resources that we have, I think you also have the right to condemn when we also go wrong. So I want to thank you.
All right. Your Excellency, we have another caller on the line. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, how are you? Your name?
My name is Ukman Joseph, calling from the local government area.
Your question to His Excellency.
Okay, I want to appreciate Your Excellency for what he has done so far for the state. I say may God bless him. And also, I want to remind him, during his campaign last year, he came to where we have T-Junction Market. There was a flag off there, but that road till now, nothing has been done. And my second question is about our,
Hello? Hello?
About what? Is it the anthem or the creed? Which one?
He's
gone.
He's
gone, I think.
Okay, let me take another call. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes?
Your name, please, where you're calling from, and your question.
Hello.
Please, I'd like to appeal to you. It's a simple thing
Hello?
to do. Darling, tell us your name and go straight to the point, please.
Hello?
Hello.
Your name, please,
Hello?
where you're calling from, your question.
My name is Uforosa Malebo.
Uforo, please, can you give your voice a little more power so we can hear you?
Okay, my name is Uforosa Malebo. I'm calling from Arwana.
Okay, your question?
Yes, I'm calling from Arwana.
I've heard you. Your question.
Hello?
Your question.
Uforosa Malebo.
Please
Calling from
just
Arwana.
ask your question. Ask your question, please. His Excellency is listening to you. Ask your questions.
Yes, please. I want to speak to the Excellency.
Go ahead, he's listening to you.
Okay.
Well,
My question is a health issue. Please.
Please.
I want to make a plea.
Hello? Okay, let me please appeal
Hello?
to you. If it is appeal, I'll give you a number at the end of this program to drop your appeal.
Okay.
Hello? We
Thank
have
you.
another caller on the line.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Good day, sir.
Fine day. How are you? What's your name? Your question? Where you're calling from?
Yes, sir. I'm calling from Istanbul. I'm Reverend Gideon.
Please.
Please, I want to comment on my Excellency for his good works. Even what that marvels me, the federal program that is why I just commissioned a house, a very beautiful edifice for a widow at Ikotam some days ago. In fact, I couldn't, God would bless him and bless his family and rewarded him abundantly in the name of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And please, Excellency, I'm very, very happy and delighted to have in contact with you. In 2015, I personally worked for you, campaigned for you through the late the SFN in Akwa Ibom State Ambassadors Forum, a socio-political group that was coordinated for my local government. The tax they have given to me, even 8 months, and they were there. So, unfortunately, after the Supreme Court ruling that we have this victory today, Efan, my boss, died, and that is where I don't have access to no contact again. So I'm very, very happy to speak with the Excellency right now. Please, if he can remind me, put me in his mind, because I've coordinated all my LGA.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The Chief of Staff is also listening to you. We'll try and reach
So
you as soon
after
as
the
possible.
Okay.
in a while.
All right. Thank you
Okay.
for the call. Let's take another call. Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Your name, please.
Yeah, this is Udom Sunday Jesus. I'm calling from Silara government.
Your question?
Yes, please. My question with my Excellency, please. What I want to ask is like, I'm in need of help from my Excellency. I'm a barber. I used to barb here.
Hello,
But,
please. Please, I want to make an appeal again. It's simple. You know, sometimes it's easy to make these appeals, but I've also made an appeal. So how do we take your appeal if you don't listen to my appeal? I'll give a number at the end of this program through which you can drop any appeal. Please, this program is about the issues we are raising. Thank you very much.
Okay, please. So when you call, just ask some question, not an appeal. James will handle that after this program. I can take another call.
Hello? Hello? Good evening. Please, hello? Take that one.
Okay, we have another call. Hello?
Hello.
Yes. How are you? What's your name? Where you're calling from?
My name is Uwan King Ibang. I'm calling from Orona.
And your question? His Excellency is listening to you.
I want to commend the Excellency for excellent job he has done in Akwa Ibom State.
Thank you.
Very commendable. Because they had hello.
Go ahead, I'm listening. Thank you.
So I want to commend the Excellency for the job well done. So more power to his elbow. I want to ask about, there was a 2018, there was a portal that been open to graduates about the civil service employment. So what does the Excellency since then 2018 up till now? So we have not heard anything about the portal again.
The portal.
Portal for employment.
Okay, if I can answer that quickly, that portal was open when we wanted to recruit primary school teachers. In fact, we needed 3,500 at that time. I ended up recruiting 3,800 primary school teachers. And they are working, they are saving, they've been earning salaries. And once we are ready, we'll open another one, because I want to believe once we're out of the post-COVID-19 economic impact, we'll look at least taking more teachers for secondary schools so that it can fill the gaps where we're having between the current number of teachers, those who have retired, and then about 11,000 youth corps members that they post to our state. I think we still have a few gaps that we can still fill in there. So we'll do that.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Welcome.
My name is Udom Emmanuel. I'm calling from Eket.
Go ahead, Udom.
Your Excellency, you've done something that has really impressed me, and I think not only me. For a long time, Akwa Ibom State didn't seem to think about something like jetty. So we have a very long water belt from Oronbo down to Ikodobat, but we didn't have jetties around. For you to even think of it, to consider it as a thing that should be done in Akwa Ibom State, it may not be too popular to many people, but we that are from the riverine area, we know that this is an important thing that you have done for Akwa Ibom people. As we celebrate the healthcare, because we know what you've started about being making 10 hospitals in Akwa Ibom across the 10 federal constituencies. Everybody can see that and celebrate. But I want to say that thinking of making jetty by the water side is a very important project for a state like Akwa Ibom State. Well done, sir.
Thank you. We'll do more of those jetties. We're actually trying to privatize the Oron jetty so that we can also use it for passenger ferry between us and Cross River. We're working seriously on that as well. The kind of development we're looking at there, state government alone might not be able to have the money to invest. But we've had some proposals from some of our PPP partners. So once we get that done, I think we should also do something very, very remarkable, so that we can also do some passenger ferries from Oron, where we can also ferry goods on, aquatic life. Life is much bigger in the water than in the land, if people do not know that. You can see even the entire state, all the revenue from oil that Nigeria is enjoying is from the water. So a lot more of economic life in the water that we're going to develop. And I'm sure you're also aware that we're doing something very remarkable in Mbo, partnering with NMPC. A whole lot of construction will be going on there from next year, and so many of our citizens will be hired there. So they will have some work to do there, because we will require a whole lot of manpower to get that executed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Kate.
Yes, Kate. Why are you
I'm
calling us?
from Uyo.
Okay.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening.
Your Excellency, I'd like to congratulate you on the celebration of Akwa Ibom State at 33.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, we all know that without peace, there can be no development. I believe that the development we have experienced under your administration is because of all the efforts you've made to ensure that there is peace in Akwa Ibom State. And we are really happy about that.
Thank you.
The industries that we now have is because there is peace. We can talk about all the things we have in the state now, like the coconut refinery. They wouldn't be here if there was no peace. So, Your Excellency, I commend you for the atmosphere of peace that we are enjoying.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, I say may God bless you.
Amen.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, and thank God.
Sound as if you work with James at AKBC.
It does. She has a good voice, actually.
So we have another call. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
How are you? Fine afternoon. Your name, where you're calling from, your question.
Okay, I'm Henshaw, a car calling from Oroganam.
Okay.
Oroganam today.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, go
ahead, Henshaw.
Okay, Henshaw from Oroganam.
Go ahead.
Yeah, My Excellency, congratulations concerning the Ibom Creation Day that was just concluded.
Thank you.
We have an issue here in Oroganam. You have done a lot in the state, but we, in the part of Oroganam, we are not part of your government in terms of road infrastructure. We don't have it at all. I hardly cross my government quarter from where I am. So what was the problem that has to do with that?
Okay. Thank you for asking me that directly. I'm sure you are aware, right from 2015, initially, we awarded, when we came here, we all talked about empowerment, patronizing our indigenous contractors. When we came in, we were trying to award that major road that I flagged off to Singaporeans. Your people protested, and that we should bring it back home. So we awarded to Land Sea and paid a whole lot of money to Land Sea. Land Sea didn't do the work. I think the case now, I told my Attorney General to take that up. But the money we paid, delayed the money, delayed the work. We now had to pick up the work and re-awarded now into 3 phases. And if you check, it's a long stretch with a lot of bridges. We can't finish in 1 day or in 1 year. If you, from Ikorobasi, from Port Harcourt, if you check that area, we've taken it very far. It remains less than 5 kilometers to complete that phase. I have a second phase that Sec Engineering is working on. I think Sec Engineering is almost completing that one. He has completed that. So we now brought him to come and join with Total Concerns to do another 26. If you check the total length of the road I'm doing in Oroganam is close to 56 kilometers. 56 kilometers of road. Today, if federal government had even done 56 kilometers of road in the entire South-South, we wouldn't be complaining. Akwa Ibom had not witnessed 1 kilometer of road from the federal government. So if in Oroganam alone, I'm doing 56 kilometers of long stretch, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might even be higher than that. So you could see that it's not something I can complete in 1 year. So allow the contractors to do the work. The bridges are there. They have to pile those bridges and also put the bridge across. These things take time. Development is not something overnight. Thirdly, let me correct something that a lot of people don't see and they don't comment. If you check majority of the roads that were done before now, they don't have side drains. So those roads, once the high tonnage trailers pass through, the vibration and the earth movement made those roads to collapse so easily. So you can see that a lot of roads we are doing even that arena, they have side drains where, it rains a lot around our area, where we take care of the drainage from the side drains into the outfall drains so that we control that water. Because if we allow that, the roads get damaged so easily. So it's not something that could be done in a jiffy. It's like the young man that mentioned something about Eket. He doesn't know how much we buried underground in Eket to make sure that in the next, I said so, that in the next 50 years, Eket can never be flooded. I stand to be corrected. But because you don't see those things, once we bury them in the ground, we cover them, you don't see. People were shouting, I remember Nsika Adwok Avenue. Water used to reach almost a neck level of a 5'6" person. A lot of taxi drivers, Okada drivers, Keke drivers, they used to go there to wash their vehicle on a rainy day. Today, even that church that is there, I think the Methodists, they were almost parking out of that place. Today, nobody knows what we've buried underground with Julius Berger to take the water completely out of that area. Once you drive through, you forget. That's one thing about a lot of infrastructure development. You only remember the day you go through the pains of driving through the red earth when they are doing the construction. The day we finish, you forget how that road seems to look like. Even all the roads we commissioned yesterday, people who were living in that area have forgotten how those roads used to be. So please give them time, allow the contractors to work. And there's something people don't know. They just criticize, they don't understand. I'm not an engineer. Engineers keep telling me that there are certain things they cannot do when it rains so heavily. Some of the earthworks they can't do when it rains so heavily. They can only do a lot of concrete works, which are those side drains. Once they finish that during rainy season, I don't want to do work that after 1 year I have to come back. Some of the people who cried so much and probably out of pressure, we had to succumb and then went to build roads to them. We had to go back now to resurface because we didn't allow those things to cure properly and then get them asphalted on a dry period. So just have a little bit of patience and allow us to go through that long stretch. There are so many states in Africa that a government will come and go. They don't build up to 60 kilometers of road. So if I'm doing almost 60 kilometers of road in Urwana alone, not that I can't finish that in 1 year, for goodness sake. Allow us work. I'm not a contractor, but I've done everything I needed to do as a governor. I've awarded the contract. I've funded the contract. So, and we are supervising the contract very well. So, allow us finish. And don't also forget, the same other one we are talking about, the Nigerian Navy gave me one of the best secondary schools on planet Earth. I went and gave it to Orwanam. Ikorokoro Hospital was full of games. The roof and the bush was much higher. The bush was much higher than the roof. Today, if you enter Ikorokoro Hospital, it looks like a teaching hospital of any standard with residences and so on. The starch factory we opened in there in Orwanam. The shipbuilding yard I brought to Orwanam. Your boys, the so-called the BAMs and Iceland and so on, they don't allow the contract. They are coming from Singapore. For goodness gracious, every day they go there and kidnap people walking. So they are causing a lot of problems. They are killing people. The people had to leave. So if you want development, you must also talk to your people. The same road you're talking about, the first set of Syrians that we brought to do that road, people went there and killed the soldiers and kidnapped the white man. They all ran away. So we had to start all over again. So if everyone wants development, they must also embrace peace and tell those their boys, I don't care whatsoever name they call, whether they call the BAM or the BAC or whatsoever, or Iceland. The day I get them, sorry, I'll tell them that we are government. So if you want development, but you must give us peace to carry out development in Orogonam. I think I've said this over and over again. On Wednesday, I took time to also talk to your paramount that we will not tolerate that any longer. We are trying to do a shipyard there, but you are not allowing the work to go. Every day you do as if that's the only local government that we can do a shipbuilding. I can take it to any local government on the shoreline and we also work. And so many other things we are trying to do like that. So please, let us just try and embrace peace and allow those people to work. If they kidnap any white man again who is trying to do that road, the day they kidnap it, I'll just tell them to pack out the equipment and I'll leave. And I'm serious about that. So ask Uran people, the road they kidnapped a white man that was doing, I abandoned the road. So, but right now, I'll give them a second chance. We'll go back there. If they kidnap any local government, not just your own, any local government that kidnaps a contractor doing the road will carry those equipment to a local government that give us peace and allow us to do the roads. Simple. So if everyone wants development, they must give us peace. Thank you.
Now, Your Excellency, still talk this issue of roads. No doubt about it, we have some challenges, some natural, some economical occasioned by COVID-19. But as let's look at Akwa Ibom in 2023, when the curtains must have fallen on your administration. What hope do you give to Akwa Ibom people in terms of all the road projects there in the state? And that you said something about the one along Sika Road. We saw what happened, those we forget. We know how it used to be, and we've seen what has happened now. There's a promise now about it. IBB, sir.
Yes.
We've heard so many promises about that road for almost like 20-something years of Akwa Ibom State. What assurances do you give to Akwa Ibom people that you will replicate the magic of Zika along IBB?
James, let me start from that one. Let me use this platform and tell all Akwa Ibomites. I'm not making empty promises on IBB. IBB, the contract has been awarded, and we have funded the contract 100%. 100%. I'm not saying we funded 99. We funded that contract 100%. So it is not just left now for Ministry of Environment and my project monitors to supervise that project. But let me also say something. Where we may have a challenge is what we call right of way, which everybody knows. Where the professionals value your property at X amount, we want to come and pay you. You say no, that your property should be valued at X plus. Sorry, I'm not a professional. And if you know the kind of governor you have very well, I cannot cheat you. Have that at the back of your mind. I operate under the general rule principle. And the general rule principle is anchored on what I call the mysteries of divine mercy. You do unto others what you like people to do to you. That's the general rule, and that's the mystery of divine mercy of God. So, if the professionals tell me that your property is worth 1 naira, please don't, except you want me to give you my own personal money. If I do more than that, I'm going against the law. So, as we go about this, so please, we are trying to adhere strictly to what the professional valuers are giving us, and we are paying. So don't go about trying to spoil the government. Oh, your property is worth billions, and we are paying you millions. No, not at all. We will not do that. We are not that kind of government. So please, try and cooperate so that that IBB can move on very fast. We funded that contract. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, I put that behind me, because once we fund the contract 100%, then we move on. Then for roads, James, you know, in life, people at times should pause and take stock. James, we came into power. Uyo 18 and Uyo Ikorekbeni Road, in terms of economy, is one of the most strategic we can ever think of in this state. And that road existed for a very long time. We came in, we got about 5 kilometers or less of that road. Today, we've done that road 24 kilometers, dualized by Julius Berger. I don't know what people want to see to be convinced. And people should go back and have the history of that road, which I don't want to talk to the whole world about. It's not in my own character. Know how much we inherited, know how much deficit we got when the road wasn't done, and how we managed to complete the road today up to 24 kilometers. The rest, you can check. Akwa Ibom Road, that is where the goose that lays the golden egg is situated. There was no road. That same road, I think ExxonMobil contributed money over time, worth about 8 billion. Nothing was done. I came in within a very short period in office. You can drive conveniently to QIT on that road. I'm not saying it's 100% complete, but our promise was that within that same period that we commissioned that road, we're going to make that road motorable. Nobody can fault it today in this country that that road is not one of the best in terms of being motorable up to QIT. We are trying. We are hoping that the resources will improve for us to tidy it up the way we want. Uyo up to QIT is a major economic road. Anybody, anywhere coming to Akwa Ibom State, we want to see that they can drive on a dual carriageway from Uyo straight to QIT. Mind you, if you go back to history, QIT, the town farms in QIT have processed more than 15 billion barrels of crude oil, better than any facility on planet Earth. Check with those in oil and gas industry. There's no facility on Earth that have processed as much crude oil as QIT. 15 billion barrels so far, more than that. So today, drive on Uyo 18 from, they say I shouldn't be calling it Akwa Ibom Junction, but everybody knows that place as Akwa Ibom Junction. Uyo people will tell you it's Ikoroku Junction, but permit me today to say from Akwa Ibom Junction, we are taking to 18 now with Julius Berger. See what CECC is doing between 18 and Eket. I'm just coming back from Nturubio. You can imagine the quality of dualized thoroughfare between 18 done by CECC. We have not completed. If you get to the bridge now, side with Eket, they've started piling for the bridge, which will link, which if God gives us the resources, from Uyo, you can go on a dualized thoroughfare straight to Atlantic Ocean. You come out of the airport, you can go on a dualized thoroughfare, throw run Okobo, and then go back and link East-West Road. So by the time we do the deep sea port, plus the facilities we're putting on an industrial park with NMPC, those heavy-duty trucks can have exit routes anywhere. Plus the fact that probably in the nearest future, the developers there should be able to put a light rail that could be able to evacuate goods. So we're also learning from the mistake of some cities that are gridlocked. People cannot move. We don't want to run a port that for 63 days you cannot clear goods. What's the working capital cycle of so many companies? So that's why I say we are having an economic definition of everything we put in terms of infrastructure. So don't let me go deeper than that because I'm talking to the whole world.
Well,
Chris, you seem to want to ask me another
yes,
question.
sir.
I'm here.
I think let's leave the road thing for now.
Okay.
And go back to hospitals.
Go back to
hospitals.
Hospitals.
There's a revolution. You've done so much in the healthcare sector. It's commendable. But I remember there's something about 18 General Hospital immediately after rehabilitation. Vandalism. What have you done to ensure that these hospitals that have been rehabilitated, built, are not going to be vandalized or pilfered?
It worries me more than you, Chris. Why does it worry me? Because the things we are putting there are not cheap at all. Like in a tenant hospital, I'm sorry that we're speaking to the whole world, but it's something of shame. That's something that we should be proud of. Instead of that, we turn around to actually take what belongs to everybody. Immediately we finished it, about 46 of those motorized beds were taken away. And who took them away? The matron that was there. So, and you could see, it could be very easy. Like the one we commissioned yesterday, you can see like those incubators. Those things can easily enter any pickup. You can see like the kind of quality X-ray machines that we have these days. I'm not sure they're as big as these, the length of some of these. So it worries us. So what we are trying to do now as government is, wherever we commission, because the 10 we do is one per federal constituency, we try to enlist the support of the royal fathers there. Like yesterday, in the last one we commissioned, the paramount ruler now spoke extensively, almost like, putting certain injunctions on people that will vandalize those things. But I want to believe the way we are doing, we've tried to fence around all those hospitals at the first instance, try to put physical security, which is what we can do as government. Like the one we commissioned yesterday, we try to put cameras. But if somebody goes to switch off the camera, I cannot sit in government as a governor and no. So we are going to begin to hold people responsible. Yesterday I was talking to the medical superintendent in one of the hospitals that we commissioned, that I don't know the number of staff you have, I don't know the number of doctors you have, the only person I know is you. Put appropriate internal controls mechanism to protect those equipment because they are extremely expensive. I want to believe they will do that. You could hear somebody calling from Washington. I'm sure when the guys saw the quality, even the beds, the theater, the x-ray, the incubators, even the female, the male wards, and about 3 theaters in that general hospital, all 2020 equipment and standard. So these things are not cheap. We are just believing that there will be ownership. And what is happening to transformers will not happen to those medical equipment, because the rate of vandalism on electrical equipment and supplies is alarming, and we are doing something about that too. I can also say everything on the microphone for the whole world to hear. The village youth president, they made an appeal. This why I don't remember any income, because we purposely ignore them. Because in my Udom transformers, about the maths in those transformers, I do fire. Even may idea a siphon, the iron transformers, iron transformer on Yamititi. It might be a transformer might run dry, who's an ita abon. So condemn that one completely. And who say, Umia transformers, they producing recover 18, they get a free 4 cables, have a section, I think K line, make it with housing. More than armored cables, it lasts about 3 months. Among those thick armored cables, in 3 months, you're going to get you, I'm telling you, I'm where you go. You're going to get you. So, my young time going on union that game of Mutombo, and I might see on Bommy, and if I'm not there at all. So, you're trying them, and I believe keeping in them 3, make sure. We could not bomb it, and young come of referee. Ili man down going to come back.
Excellency, when I go for okay.
I'm coming for you. Omia bofose inwe court e come government mi committee eti. Nje na medion government adam. Ido government ra gidi dibo ndi onda mantan ra go biyo. Idibo yedi inambo no idem. Igidi yedi nambo no frewu. Both the rich, the poor and everybody. He use the professor nyini who get in the semester me wait here down. Manzili my team bo. It will be that down. Madam Tanke programming, but case and I get Luke chapter 6, I think verse either 25 or 26. That woe to a man that they only say good thing about you. So they must say certain things bad. I'm not going to wait here. I will say, I will Akwa Ibom. I say, in my code federal government. I will cancel 13% derivation. No, but I didn't know what I'm. I mean, I will get down to Ikoro. Canada, I thought, south. If you meet the other talk south, you won't mean 1 kilometer of road, even when I'm in the first south. I was a get here, I will cancel. A two book. No, you give Caribbean Johnson, Yanamican, young Abandona, and so give me an and then my PCR machines me, lap me for COVID-19. Should I go in and them get not even one lap. A private lab, PCR lab, say, I'm telling me, with state resources, not 1 naira. He used to bomb. So you know, get what to Akwa Ibom. I get able, currency of Akwa Ibom, get work by a coba. I know this year. A question come again, them when get Nigeria me. Mundo basket down chemical. So, my forget Uto Admiraba. So, but down, you may decide the state. We must forward ever, backward never. So, once again, congratulations, Akwa Ibom. Over 33 years of existence as a state, and I want to say the God that has brought us this far will make us arrive at that destination with realization of our vision and our mission as a people. And wherever we are as a people, God will actually raise us up so that we can, as He raises us up, we can rise above all. And then excellence should be the thing attributed to every Akwa Ibom person, anywhere we are, anywhere in the world. Thank you. God bless you all. Hope to see you again. Might not be so soon, depending on whenever AKBC will give me time. But I hope by November they might give me time again, or December. Then I'll come back. Thank you and God bless you.
Excellency will negotiate that. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We'd like to thank you so very much for creating time to be on this program outside of your very tight schedule. We still have a lot of questions we would have loved to ask, but time is not our friend, and we also know that today was not about politics. If it was about politics, we would have loved to know your mindset on the future of the South-South and your party, considering what has happened in Edo State. But that will be in another edition of the program, not today, Your Excellency. On that note, I'd like to thank His Excellency, like I said, for being on this program. Let me, in a very special way, thank the Secretary to State Government, Dr. Emmanuel, who joined us on the program, the Chief of Staff to the Governor, our Paro Ephraim was also here, and not forgetting the Executive Producer of this program and the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Comrade in Mebong. Of course, we had the Chief Press Secretary, who was calling the shots from behind the scene, Ekerete Udo, the Director General of AKBC, Pastor Nietu Pe. And on that note, we would like to thank all the managers and the heads of the stations who help us to link this program to the world. Not forgetting Planet 101 FM, Comfort 95.1 FM, Passion 95 FM, Atlantic FM, XL FM, Unio FM, and of course, our online editors, talking about Solomon Ayo and his entire team who made this program available to the entire world. Thank you very much. And on that note, on behalf of Chris Nkang, Nsebasi Valentine Owo, and of course, Rockefeller and Sudo, my name is James Edit. I thank you for being on the program, and of course, the Governor Speaks will return when next His Excellency is available to talk to us.
I'm always available.
Thank you, Excellency, when work allows. Okay, on that note, thank you and good evening.